SpongeBob SquarePants, Rage and Depression. Prologue. I am a huge fan of SpongeBob SquarePants and love how Steven Hillenburg created these quirky creatures, but one episode made an exception. I was browsing for SpongeBob on demand and came across a never-before-seen episode of SpongeBob. It was titled, Rage and Depression. I assumed this was another Squidward torture porn, but little did what was coming my way. Intro. I started the episode and the intro played out normal, but I noticed a few problems. For one, Patchy was in the mouth of a shark, and when the bubble transitioned to SpongeBob's house played the shark ate Patchy and the water was pastel red. When SpongeBob's house was shown, it quickly transitioned to a coffin where SpongeBob came out of instead of his house. The rest of the intro was SpongeBob walking through a destroyed Bikini Bottom, and SpongeBob's horn nose was replaced with SpongeBob playing a violin in a depressing tune different to the regular tune. I was weirded out as anyone would be if they saw this, but still had the urge to keep watching because I know I've seen worse. The title card was blurry in a green smudged background, along with smudged letters that read, Rage and Depression. Episode. It cut to SpongeBob's house and I heard close to ear rape bawling coming out of the pineapple. On the inside, there were cuts all over the wallpaper reading Patrick and come back. I didn't have the foggiest why, but Sponge had depression. SpongeBob turned to me and broke the fourth wall. Have you ever lost a friend that you were very close with? SpongeBob asked. Well, it happened to me, just yesterday. A flashback played with riding a plane that looked like the plane from Have You Seen This Snail? I want peanuts, Patrick said. Patrick pressed the loop-de-loop button. Wee-ee-ee, Patrick exclaimed. Suddenly, Patrick landed head-first on the sea needle. SpongeBob could hear Patrick's faint scream from yards away. Sponge ran to the sea needle, but it was too late. The plane hit the ground and exploded, causing the sea needle to fly straight to the freeway. Patrick and multiple drivers were severely injured or killed. Pat flung out of freeway and into the Bikini Bottom mint. Patrick was being mutilated by everything in it. At last, SpongeBob caught up to Patrick, but Pat was 100% dead. SpongeBob was crying his eyes out. No one bothered to plan Patrick's funeral, so SpongeBob decided to do the honors. He didn't dig the grave, but robbed Mr. Krabs behind his back. He dressed in a suit with a flower and tattooed his face all over. He sort took on a Suicide Squad Joker look. After that, he bought a coffin with Mr. Krabs' money and shoved Patrick's corpse inside it. I'm here to remember Patrick J. Star. Patrick was killed in one of the most tragic ways possible. Patrick died at the age of 33 due to being impaled by the sea needle, ran over by tons of vehicles, and slaughtered by the Mint's hardware. Patrick, you will be forever missed. SpongeBob started sobbing at the coffin. The episode returned to SpongeBob's house, where we find him doing the sprinkler with his own teardrops. Sandy entered the pineapple. SpongeBob glared at Sandy with absolute rage, tackled Sandy and asked, "Where in the freaking SEA bottom were you during Patrick's funeral, you rat?" SpongeBob. Patrick died. Sandy questioned in shock. Don't lie to me, you overgrown rodent. SpongeBob hollered. I was at a science convention in Texas, Sandy declared. SpongeBob slapped Sandy, leaving a huge slap mark. Bull rap, try it again, SpongeBob yelled. I was shocked to see SpongeBob doing this to his own friend. In fact, one of his first friends ever. But before Sandy could say anything else, SpongeBob went off the deep end. SpongeBob grabbed his spatula and cut open Sandy's helmet. Sandy couldn't breathe, and it would a matter of seconds before she succumbed to suffocation. Patrick was right, SpongeBob said to his soon-to-be dead friend. Texans are dumb. SpongeBob decided to leave his house. When I saw Sandy being killed by SpongeBob, it was scarring and gruesome. While SpongeBob walking, Mr. Krabs happened to notice him. SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs yelled. SpongeBob had no comment. "Why aren't ya in work anymore, boy?" "I'm losing money and I just got robbed." Mr. Doodles licked SpongeBob. "I thought, nice to see Mr. Doodles. I haven't seen him since season 3. SpongeBob asked Krabs, "Have you ever lost a friend before, sir?" "Sure, remember the dollar I had when I was 5. But if we're talking about fish, then money is more important than friends," Mr. Krabs declared. SpongeBob's fists were clenched deep. "More important than friends?" SpongeBob asked. SpongeBob took off Mr. Doodles' leash and hung Mr. Krabs with it on a nearby tree. Mr. Doodles fled the scene. "Wish I could hang. But I've got some redemption to attend to," SpongeBob said. "I couldn't believe my eyes when this happened." SpongeBob was always so loyal, Mr. Krabs. Why was he doing all this now? I get that he's mad due to Patrick's death, but he's taking it out on his own friends. SpongeBob was now on a killing spree, and there was a montage. Plankton was stepped on by Sponge's spiky cleats, Mrs. Puff got her pricks took off and SpongeBob put them back on the other way around. Karen was smashed into bits by Patrick's old bat, and Pearl was buried alive. The only people left were SpongeBob, Gary, and Squidward. SpongeBob wasn't going to kill Gary because he's SpongeBob's pet, so he went to Squidward's house. As soon as he entered, Sponge was beheaded by a clarinet. "People may not call me a musician, but I know I am," Squidward states. "Damn you, I loved you," SpongeBob yells as he catches his head. "I thought Fat Rick was your best friend," Squidward argues. "I loved you, I would have done anything for you," SpongeBob counter-argued. "You were a nuisance. I hated you," Squidward declares. "Well, now you can live in peace," SpongeBob sobs. SpongeBob grabbed Squid's clarinet and stabs it through Squidward's neck. SpongeBob kneels down at Squidward's corpse. "So long, Squidward," Sponge says softly. The screen fades to black. I was so shocked to see that an episode like this. Before I could contact anyone, a time card read 3 years later. It's been 3 years since Patrick had died, 3 years since the Krusty Krab has been shut down, 3 years since I ruled the rest of the living in Bikini Bottom, which is now called Spongeland. SpongeBob thought. Me and Gary have enslaved millions, and I regret every minute of it. If I were to stop being ruler, then the Bikini Bottomites would kill me, SpongeBob states. I just wanted to avenge Pat, but now I realize Pat wouldn't want this. SpongeBob started crying. The episode was really over because the credits rolled. After that, I was terrified and scarred. I couldn't call Steven Hillenburg because he died, so I decided to call Paul Tibbitt. He told me that some SpongeBob hater nearby Nickelodeon Studios must have hijacked the place and created it. I still watch SpongeBob to this day, but not as much, and it's all because of this episode.